On a week where the Arlington Grand Prix was announced, it was the Detroit Lions that showed off their speed as they raced out to a 47-9 win over the Dallas Cowboys in Week 6 of the NFL season. Welcome into the First Word presented by Dr. Pepper here from the Star in Frisco, where we break down what just happened in Arlington. Isaiah Stanback, Nate Newton, I'm Kyle Yeomans. I think we're all a little bit shell-shocked in a couple of ways. I think we anticipated Detroit being the better-built team, the better team going into it, at least on paper. But I don't think any of us really anticipated the magnitude of what was going to happen in this ball game.
Yeah, magnitude is a great word, Kyle, because I'm not sure where this registers on the Richter scale, but it was
pretty high.
It was pretty high. Almost 500 yards of offense allowed. Almost 50 points allowed. Turnovers galore offensively. Well, we had 2 or 3 interceptions, 2 fumbles, 5 total turnovers. This thing never was on the rails. It was never on the rails. Outside of the CeeDee Lamb completion early in the game, you never felt like you had any form of control in regards to this game. You were outmatched. You were out-prepared. You were out-physicaled. At this point, I mean, there was nothing about this game that made you feel as if you were a better unit, a better team, a better moment at all. Detroit Lions owned you in this game.
You know, I knew coming in that this offensive line of Detroit was very, very dominant, and they took advantage of us. But where I thought we would gain some traction was with our offense. 3 of 13 on third downs, 23%, 16 first downs, 53 yards rushing. Like you said, 3 interceptions. Time possession was only 25 minutes. That's bad. That's bad. And Coach McCarthy's going to have a lot of time to think about this going into this bye week. It was just an ugly game. And defensively, once again, this has been our problem for over 6-7 years now. As teams just come in, if they want to take advantage of us, they rush the ball for 184 yards, 35 minutes of time possession. That's not going to work. 36 carries. When teams of equal or greater talent come in here, and we at our home front, and if they want to have a great chance of winning, they just take off running the ball, and that's got to stop.
Yeah, 4 straight losses at home, including the playoff loss to Green Bay. So things not looking good at AT&T Stadium at the moment. And it's nothing about home field advantage or crowd or whatever it may be. A lot of it is schedule. You faced a hot team in the Saints. You faced one of the best teams in the AFC in the Baltimore Ravens. And this is one of the better teams in the NFC in the Detroit Lions. But if you're going to get where you need to go, Isaiah, where you're going to an NFC title game, you're going to a Super Bowl, you've got to beat teams like the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
This one didn't build any of that confidence moving forward. Out of all those losses that we talked about already, the 4 straight, is this one by far the most significant?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, you start talking about teams, comparing yourself against teams, especially in the NFC,
it's a
right?
benchmark,
And you faced some really good teams this year. Listen, this schedule sucks, right? But it is what it is, right? You got to face who you have to face, and then you take it week by week, and you hope to make sure that that you go into these games healthy, that you go into them as prepared as possible, and give yourself the best chance to win ball games. And you are. It's comparison. You are going to compare yourself to these teams, to these organizations. You didn't expect it to be this much disparity between yourself and a team that you just beat a couple months back. Right, you just beat this team, right, last year. Now, you could say it's a different year, that they're a little bit better, all those things, but not 47-9.
Yeah.
47-9, as you just heard Nate talk about the offense. The offense is supposed to be the core of this team. I'm going to repeat that. The offense is supposed to be the core of this team. You had 0 touchdowns. 0 touchdowns. Defensively, I don't know where this defense lands right now. I really don't know where this defense lands. I truly believe that ever since the departure of Dan Quinn, this team has been searching for its identity defensively. Obviously, you bring in Mike Zimmer, and, the whole thing is about, toughness and discipline, because everybody feels as if Dan Quinn had an undisciplined defense. In reality, it was a change that had to happen. Dan Quinn left, you had to go get somebody else, and you have to rest your keys on something, right? So obviously, you bring in somebody who's a tough coach historically. But the reality is this team they haven't bonded, right? Y'all can think about Avatar. They haven't bonded with Mike Zimmer, okay? It just hasn't happened. And I'm not sure where this leaves him or this defense right now, but something drastic has to change, because it's not going to get easier. You're going to face teams that aren't necessarily as explosive as this team, but teams that can put us some doggone points. And you're going to have to figure out what is your approach and how are you going to impact it, even with guys down on the roster.
Stop. Understand what has happened. You've earned this schedule. 12-5, 12-5, 12-5, first place in your division. You earned this schedule. Now, did you go out and do the right things during the offseason by trying to put a little bit better free agent here? No, we didn't. We rested on our morals. We said we were all in with the players we had. We drafted guys. We said these were the smarter guys. We drafted. It's a better draft class. It's just not panning out. You're playing for other first-place teams. You're playing other teams that are going to be in the playoffs. You have to pick your game up. You have to meet force with force. You deal with what you have. You can't go out and make any wholesale changes right now. You have to be a better team. You have to do what it takes to win games. I don't care who you are, what you do. When you go 12-5 and you win your division, you've earned the right. Pick up your game.
Got to be better. Got to be better, and it starts this week going into the bye week, whether that's personnel changes or getting guys back from injury, which will help significantly. I think going into it, we anticipated Deron Bland, Kalen Carson, and a couple other guys available. Tyler Guyton, I'm still not sure what's going on with your left tackle, but there's a way to get better in the bye week outside of just personnel. But either way, you're coming on the other side of that with the 49ers, the Eagles, the Texans, and the Falcons, not particularly in that order, but those are the next 4 games. So let's take a look at the final stats as we say goodbye here on The First Word, presented by Dr. Pepper. These final stats, 47-9, presented by Miller Lite. The Cowboys going into the bye week, they are at 3-3, season not over yet, but there's a lot that needs to be fixed here in the next couple of weeks. We've got Cowboys OT coming up next, streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and on the Cowboys social channels, followed by Cowboys Game Night, where Isaiah Stanback will break down some of the more significant plays that led to the Cowboys' loss in Arlington. For Isaiah Stanback and Nate Newton, I'm Kyle Yeoman saying so long from The First Word, presented by Dr. Pepper.